everything should be working. Is it working? I hope so. Hello! Are people here? Are people watching? I saw people were waiting. I apologize for keeping you delayed. We are going to look at... Please tell me this is working. I really need to look at the screen. Yes, it is. Good. So, F122. We now have an official Formula 1 game with VR support. However...
Said looks good.
Thank you.
Said yeah, it is working.
Excellent.
Salsa Ketchup VR. Said it seems to be working.
I've got it now, I know, thank you. I appreciate it. So, we have an official F1 game with VR support for the first time. However, as with most sim racing things, there's a lot of work you need to put in behind the scenes to get this to perform well, and to get it to perform at a standard that, as a VR player, you're happy to acceptable with.
Said yay.
Yay indeed. Now, the main thing that it comes down to is what system you've got, what it can handle, and the different settings that the game actually allows. And the game menu does not...
Working fine, just thought you might like to know.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the help. So we have menus within menus in this sort of thing. So if we have a look. So at the moment, all the menu screens are in this, which is basically as you can see, it's just a flat screen in front of me where it's all projected. It's fine. Anytime you're in the car, it's VR completely. So, if we look at game options, and then we go to settings, here is the wealth of settings that you can have. Now, you would think for VR, you'd go into VR, and that would be all your VR settings. It's not. So, I currently have my index running at 80 Hz, which is the lowest that you can do. And you can see that I've got it a resolution of 2016 by 2240. That is the 100% resolution of the index. So that's what I'm running it at. I'm not super sampling anything, I'm just keeping as is. I could super sample in Steam. You also have the option here to override the super sampling values within the game. Right. Also, bloom and god rays I've turned off because I don't want to be blinded while I'm driving. Motion blur, never have motion blur on in VR. You don't have motion blur in real life, you don't need it in VR, okay? Stencil Mesh, that actually takes quite a lot of resources, so it's best to turn it off, I've found, if you're struggling. That's the key thing, if you're struggling, and this is going to be different for everyone. Okay, so, you know, I can tell you so much. Now we go into the graphic settings. So, this is where it gets a little odd. So you have the advanced presets, and you only see this section if you're in VR. Okay? If you're not in VR, you don't see this. So it has a section you can have VR ultra low, low, medium, high, ultra high, or custom if you want to set your own. Now, VR high works for me while I'm streaming because there's an overhead on streaming. But that's not the only setting that you really need to get at. And obviously you can adjust all of these individually as well if you want to. Texture streaming, I would also consider dropping that down because that can have quite a hit as well. You just want to be a bit careful with certain stuff. So we've just gone with the default VR high, which works well on my machine. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If we go into video mode, you get another menu where you've got your monitor you're going on. What resolution is it on the screen? I've dropped that right down because I'm trying to save on performance. Okay, I want my performance here. I don't want it on my screen. That's what I'm trying to do. The game is windowed, obviously, because it's small. I've got it on my output monitor too, so it's there. My anti-anisotropic filtering, or anisotropic filtering, that one right there, that's at 16 times, which is the highest it will go. That's good. Now, this is the setting that you really want to look out for, but we'll go into that just afterwards. So all of these other ones are off at the moment because we haven't changed the anti-aliasing. Dynamic resolution, please turn it off. I understand why it's there. I hate it. It's all personal choice and you can do whatever you want to do. However, I would say leave it off because the game will automatically change what it looks like in order to get the frame rate. Now, what I would rather have is a solid resolution and a solid frame rate. Now, so Anti-Aliasing. We're going to go for TAA only. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the difference between these settings so that you understand what it is and what they all do and how different it looks. Now, hopefully that will come across on stream right, because in the headset it really shows. So we're going to stick with TAA only to begin with. And we're going to go into the benchmark mode. And in the benchmark mode, we're going to go to Miami. And we're going to have it clear and dry. We're going to have one lap. And we're going to show the FPS, which you'll see at the top of the screen. So we're going to start this. So here's Miami with the big Hard Rock Stadium in the middle. And what we're going to do, this will be fully VR as a benchmark. I will be sitting in a car. I will not be driving. So you can see, little jittery as I look around. Also, not the clearest. But you can see I'm hitting a 79 FPS in this. So you can see that, you know, looks a little jittery to me. The anti-aliasing isn't really doing as much as I want it to do. It doesn't feel particularly smooth in the headset. And if you look in the distance, things look a bit blurred as you're going by. I mean, I can read that it says Alfa Romeo on the back of that car, but it's not as sharp as personally I would like. Now, obviously, if your PC can't run that high, that's entirely fair enough. But these extra options that we're looking at and changing with the anti-aliasing, they can really make a big difference. You can see in the mirrors, you can see everything around. You can look at the hertz and everything. I can look down and see my crutch. It's lovely. So it doesn't feel particularly smooth, and it doesn't look particularly sharp. Does that come across on stream, or what do people think? How do people think this looks? What's your opinion? Say, chat is on. I can hear what you're going to say. I've also got a window up so I can read it as well. So again, little jittery, not as smooth as I'd like, not as sharp as I'd like. Everything in the distance looks a bit blurry. Okay. So that's the end of that. And when we come to the end of this, it gives us a rundown of everything that it's done. Okay, so let's have a look. So we're aiming to hit 80 frames a second. So minimum FPS I got there was 55. That's where it was getting jittery. That's not good. Average FPS 79. Happy with that.
Said the focus point in the distance is hard to see.
Exactly.
Said looks like the first time I fired it up a bit blurry.
Exactly, because you're looking at the default settings, and the game doesn't teach you or tell you what to do to make things better. You have to figure it out yourself. So we're going to come out. It takes you back to here, back into the game options, back into the settings, back into the graphic settings, back into the video mode, and we're going to change from TAA only to NVIDIA DLSS.
Ashley.
Now,
said Racing GGG.
hello, Ashley. Nice to see you. If anyone was at the race night the other night watching this, Ashley who has arrived is the lovely Ashley from Canada that we were discussing. Anyway, back to the game. So, NVIDIA DLSS, which is their deep learning supersampling technology, which basically means the graphics card will fill in the frames for you, okay? So we've left everything on the default settings for this. Now, would you expect this to look better or worse? I'll give you a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds to put it in chat. What do you think? Does DLSS look better or worse than what we've just seen? Bear in mind, DLSS is a new technology from NVIDIA that they are raving about, where it will give you extra frames. So do they think NVIDIA DLSS will make the game look better or look worse? Ooh, there's a lot of thinking going on behind the scenes now. Okay, since no one's going to guess, let's find out. So we're going to go back into benchmarking mode. And we're going to do exactly the same track.
Looks a bit better for me, to be honest.
Interesting.
VR. Said YouTube adds another level of compression as well.
That is true. I also running the highest level that I can run bitrate into YouTube, and also the best sharpening that I can with my streaming as well. So I'm trying to give you the best picture quality that I can. It's not 4K, it's only 1080. Yeah. Okay, so let's now run the same benchmark test, but this time NVIDIA DLSS. So again, it's exactly the same benchmark. It runs exactly the same. Although the car's changed, you might find I'm in a different car this time. Okay. Now, to me, that looks much blurrier. I don't know. What do you guys think? Does that look blurrier? It's smoother. It does feel smoother, but it's much blurrier than it was before. So if you look in the distance, it becomes almost... You can't see really the shape of the car almost. So I was surprised. To be fair, I've not actually had much success with NVIDIA DLSS on any game. Which is a shame. It's a real shame. Because you would expect it to do. Now, we also have the AMD FidelityFX, which is AMD's open source version of DLSS that NVIDIA do.
Crash organism. Says, can you see in the distance you are at the back XD?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not at the back. You can see in the mirrors there are, I'm basically in the middle of the pack. But as you can see, it looks blurrier. I'm hoping that comes across on stream right, but it is much blurrier. It's almost like you've got Vaseline smeared across the lenses. Even the steering wheel itself is blurrier. I can read them, but I have to, actually pay attention to those numbers. Whereas it's not crisp and it's not particularly clear. Yeah, you can't see it at the distance. Okay. Well done, Mr. Albon. So, okay, let's get a rundown of this one and let's see what it did frame rate wise. Now, I said I felt it smoother. So, last time our lowest frames were 55. So, there we go. Minimum frame rate 76. So, that's good. Frame rate wise, that's good. However, not sharp enough for me. Doesn't look quite right. So, we need to fix that. So, let's have a look at the other option. Settings, back in the graphics settings, back in the video mode. Okay, so on top of NVIDIA DLSS, we have TA and FidelityFX Sharpening.
DLSS is not quite there, it doesn't add frame, it has again AI upsampler, so looking up FPS due to less overhead on CPU GPU.
Yes, I would agree. It's exactly the same. It's not quite there. It's a fascinating technology, and it's a really interesting way of doing things, but every time I've used it, it just makes the game look blurry, but smoother. And blurry to the point where it's almost ghosting, and I'm not a fan of that at all. Okay, so we've gone from NVIDIA DLSS to TAA and FidelityFX Sharpening. Again, we're going to go back into benchmark mode. We're going to run exactly the same track. Now, do we think this is going to be better or worse than DLSS and TAA? Hopefully it should be better with TAA, because it's TAA and FidelityFX Sharpening.
Said works well for 2D mode.
Now, that, to me, is sharp. And that is smooth. So at the moment, this is the best option that we've tried so far, in my opinion. The other thing as well is I would normally run this on very high, but because I'm streaming, there's a slight overhead. Again, look in the distance, you can make stuff out a lot clearer. Again, the mirrors are nice and sharp, so you can see what's going on. So if you look at the back of that car, that looks particularly sharper and a lot clearer of what bits are what. And the wheel, that is so easy to read on those. I can see the position, the delta, everything. It's really, really clear. And it feels smooth. So again, we're looking to get 80 frames a second. The first one gave us a minimum frame rate of 55. Not happy with that. NVIDIA DLSS gave us a lowest of 77.
Says the AMD-FX has really helped in this title.
I would agree in this, but there's two types of two settings that we can use for the FidelityFX, the AMD FidelityFX. So there's this one, which is TAA, and the Sharpening. And as you can see, hopefully that shows across on stream. It looks much sharper. Much sharper. So at the moment, for me, that one's winning. Cool. So we got 71 frames a second. So drop in frames. Okay, that's fine. But 71 is still pretty good for that. Average frame rate of 79. So, you know, I'm happy with that. That's probably a reprojection ratio of 1%, 2%, which is pretty good, really. I would be happy with it.
Said him not bad.
No, not bad at all. Okay. Back in the game options, back in the settings, back in the graphics settings, back in the video mode. And the next one that we can try, which is the final one, TAA plus AMD FSR 1.0 Upscale. Quite a mouthful. Now, do we think this is going to be better or worse? Is it going to be sharper? Is it going to be smoother? Is it going to be not as sharp, but is it going to be smoother? Is it going to be more sharp but less smooth? Let's find out. Back in the benchmark. Exactly the same track again. So the main advice I can give you at the moment is run the game.
Said sharper, lower frame rate.
What do you think now?
Said FSR 2.0 will be a lot better.
Will it? So that, to me, is incredibly blurry. And the frame rate is about the same as the last one. So, I mean, you look at the draw distance there. How blurry does that look compared to the last one? So if I look in the distance like that, how blurry does that all look? Even the wheel that's right in front of me is blurred. It is! Correct! Potato vision.
Watto UK says potato vision.
Which is really surprising.
Said yeah, I could not see the corner until you were past the place you turned.
No. It's really interesting that, you know, you have all these different settings and you kind of think, well, there are pluses and minuses to all of them. But I like a nice balance between visual fidelity and frame rate. And I've dropped this to 80 Hertz, so it's the lowest it will go. You know, I could put it up to 90, but again, I'm streaming. So, you know, we just need it to get good. But I would not be comfortable playing this. I mean, look at the crowd. It's just blurry as hell. But I'm willing to bet my frame rate's better. So let's see what the frame rate was. So the last one, the lowest was 71. Uh, 77. So yeah, better frame rate, but very blurry, as far as I could see. So, in my opinion, and of course it's all subjective, and I understand that, I would stick with
Crash organism. said your blackhead Kirby things were gone in that.
See? So I would stick with this one, which is TAA and FidelityFX Sharpening. For me, that seems to be the best one. Now, what we can also do, we're going to go from
Salsa
VR
Ketchup
high.
VR. Said the upscale thing is the equivalent
Yeah.
of DLSS.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is AMD's equivalent of DLSS. Right, okay. Let's move this to VR medium and drop it down. Let's see if there's that much visual fidelity difference than what we had before and what we have now. So we've gone VR medium with the best vision that we have, okay? And what we might do, we'll run one and then probably run another one just so that with the high, so you can have a quick comparison. The fact that the game has its own benchmarking tool inside is wonderful. Now, I'd be happy with that. That looks sharp. Whatever that FX sharpening is doing, it's doing a good job. So this is on VR medium, which again, I would be happy playing it like this, and I'm probably going to get more than the 71 frames. And it looks smooth, and if you look in the if you look in the distance, you can see stuff. Things look fairly sharp.
Said I could not be asked with all this messing around. Gone are the days of just being able to set max best settings of the 1990s.
Do you know what? That's exactly why I've done this stream. Is so that all the pain and hassle that I've been through, and Sal's has been through, and Ham has been through, we've all collated our information together so that we can put them out there. Now, the other thing is what this actually does is it creates a couple of XML files that sit in my documents. So my documents, my games, and there's a Formula 1 F22, F122 folder in there, and in there there's a hardware folder, and inside there are...
Said this is so much better.
Isn't it? You know, and all I've done is just drop it to medium. So bear in mind, this is so much better than what we saw before, but we'll compare it. We'll do another one with VR high, and we'll just see what it looks like and see if there's any really noticeable difference. But you know, this looks fine. This is sharp enough. I can see things. So as I was saying, you've got these 3 XML files that have all of your settings inside. What I'm going to do is I will upload my XML files into a Google Drive, and I'll put it as a pinned comment on this video so that if anyone just wants to grab the XML and drop them in, you can. Obviously they're suited to my system, but the main thing, to be honest, the main thing that I would suggest you do if you're going to do this game in VR is set that TAA and FidelityFX sharpening, and then just move between the low, medium and high and get what works for you. So again, 77 frames, okay? 77 was the minimum. Average was 79, maximum was 80. Okay, so we'll do this once more. So remember what that one looked like, and we'll just do it on high. Just so we can see once more on high what that looks like. So you do have high and ultra high, but we're going to go high, okay? Oh, wrong button. That's what I mean. Okay. Benchmark mode. One more time. If I was not streaming, this is probably the one I would use. But obviously when I'm streaming, I've got a CPU overhead when it comes to the actual streaming software. So again, looks fine. Looks really nice. It's nice and sharp. It's pretty smooth. Not as smooth as last time, but it's smooth enough. My reprojection is incredibly low. I'm actually quite susceptible to reprojection and seeing it. So again, if I was not streaming, this is the one I would use. But I think for streaming, medium would be the setting, would be the one. But seriously, that TAA and the fidelity sharpening.
Flat screen, you would have all those fancy settings.
You would. So you wouldn't have the VR thing. You would just have the video mode, and you'd see all of those in flat screen. Yeah. So you've got all of those fancy settings in flat screen mode as well. Yeah, and you can just go from there. Because it's like if I run this flat screen.
There's a TP car and it has not crashed yet.
Very good. So I think for playing by myself, VR high with TAA and the sharpening, and if I'm streaming, medium. I mean, you guys tell me.
Said you would also have ray tracing in flat.
That is true. You do have the option for ray tracing in flat as well. That hasn't made it to VR. I suspect that would be quite an overhead. So yeah, I think for streaming, medium, because it just feels that little bit more smoother. But then for playing while I'm not streaming, I would say that high would work fine. So what did we get there? Lowest one was 71 frames is what it was last time. What's it this time? Probably about the same. 73. Yeah, okay, fine. So we can see there is a difference. Cool. So, yeah, more than anything, those 4 options with the anti-aliasing are the things that you need to look at more than anything else. They really make a difference. So again, just quickly go through them. You have TAA only. Don't worry about that. NVIDIA DLSS. Avoid like the plague. That's my baby. TAA and FidelityFX sharpening. And then you've got TAA and FSMR 1.0 upscale. Ignore. Honestly, stick with this one. TAA and FidelityFX sharpening. It makes a huge difference. It really does. You can also, if you're in VR, you can set the resolution as low as you want on the screen because it has no impact on what you're seeing. I will say this, if you are in VR and you change that, the game will throw a hissy fit. It will go a bit mental because for some reason it doesn't like you changing that when it's on there, to the point where the game will kind of really slow down and won't detect input straight away. So I would suggest jump into the game in flat screen, set it to the lowest resolution you can, then load the game up in VR and then do all the other bits that you need to do. That would be my recommendation.
Ham VR. Said evening buck and all.
Hello, Ham. So, as we were saying, for streaming, for me, 80 Hz in the headset, VR medium for a nice smooth swing in the headset and for you watching at home, and the video mode once more, say it with me, TAA and FidelityFX sharpening. Everyone say hello to Ham and say thank you to Ham because he helped me out with some of this as well. He has also done a video regarding these settings. I would highly recommend you go and look at his as well. We are basically aligned in our thinking of what it needs to be, but this is where it's at the moment.
Salsa Ketchup VR.
Said 07 good job.
Thank you very much, sir. Right, I'll tell you what, while we're here, let's go through the actual menus and see what we've got. So, assists. Driving proficiency. So you do have elite, where everything's turned off. Professional, where some things are on. Experienced. To be honest, experience is almost what I have. Amateur.
Said haha thanks, yes I am all settings out.
Yeah, tell me about it.
What UK? Said Ham.
Yeah, good luck, man. So, and then amateur, which turns on lots of different stuff, and beginner, which basically turns everything on. So, steering assist and braking assist essentially drive the car for you. You don't really have to do much. I did try it once. It was very silly. You literally just put your foot down and just gently turn the wheel in the direction you think you want to go, and the car just drives itself and brakes when it needs to. Now, anti-lock brakes. I put them on. I know, I'm still learning. Traction control, I actually go medium. Drift assist is off. Dynamic racing line, at the moment, I know you're going to hate me, I have it on corners only. The reason I have it on corners only is because I'm still learning. Don't at me. Okay, gearbox. Now, you can have automatic, so you don't have to do anything. Manual and the suggested gear, which is good for learning. I just go for manual. Hit assist. The way they do pit stops in this game is odd, and I'm trying to figure out how to get it right. I'm struggling. So pit assist, I turn off. Pit release assist, I turn off as well. ERS, I turn on, because one, I don't have a button map for ERS, and two, I haven't got the foggiest idea how to fucking use it. But DRS assist I have off, so I do have to hit a button for DRS assist. Okay. So that's what I have. Again, you can have whatever you want. You can try what you want. It's not a problem. Okay, on-screen display. What do you want to see? By default, in VR, everything is off. Full immersion. Nothing is on at all. I've added some bits just so that I've got some bits for myself so I can see what's going on. Start lights I quite like having. Driver tags I like to see I'm racing against, especially if I'm turning on. Oh, you turn the line on as well. Do you have the full line or do you just have the corners?
VR.
Said I turned the line on as well.
I'm learning. That's the way I'm looking at it. Okay, track map. No.
VR.
Said full.
Oh, okay. No, I've just gone for the corners. Cool. So, miles per hour because I'm British. Celsius because I'm British. Track map. I don't have the track map on. Delta time. I do have it on, but I don't really need to. Proximity arrows I don't worry about. I've got mirrors. Driver tags on. Start lights on. Virtual rear view mirror. No, we don't need that. Permanent session timer on I have as well, just so I know what's going on. And always display objective panel is on as well. Cool. So that is that. If we go back, next one we're going to go to controls, vibration, force and feedback. Again, it has everything set up for the most popular wheels that you have. Now I actually have this wheel, but I wanted to change some things. It lets you make your own profiles, which is excellent. The fact that people can do that. I'm going to tell you how much I've been enjoying this game. Now that I've put the work in and I've got it working, I ordered one of those on Sunday, which from Fanatec. So I have a F1 Esports Club Sport wheel coming, which I cannot wait to use. Don't get me wrong, this is great. Love this wheel, really good. But for this game, I want a proper F1 wheel. The other thing as well you have to do, if you got Fanatec kit, you need to dial all of those settings in as well on the tuning menu. Otherwise, your turn isn't going to be the same as it is in the game.
Ketchup VR. Said nice. V1 or V2?
Just the V1. It's the esports one. There isn't a V2 esports. I don't think. You're thinking of the other. Yeah, there isn't a V2 on the esports. There's a V2 F1, but there's not a V2 esports one, I think. Anyway. Okay. Audio settings. Master volume I've turned down a bit just because I'm streaming. Effects. Now, this is quite cool. The onboard mix that you've got. You can go from cinematic, which basically has larger than life elements. You can go broadcast, which is replicate a TV feed, an official TV feed, or driver, as that's just what the driver would hear. Which I think is a really nice little deal. I have it on cinematic more than anything else. You can have the engineer ducking, so when the engineer's talking, all the other sounds drop a bit. Audio simulation quality, I've got it high. You can go ultra high, but apparently that will use a lot more CPU, so I've stuck that on high. Commentators. Are you a Channel 4 or are you a Sky fan? Because you can have David Croft.
Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Or Alex Jacques.
A beautiful performance from McLaren today.
So if you're a Channel 4 or a Sky TV person, you can pick. You can also have it in different languages, which is good. Push to talk for multiplayer. I turn it off. If I'm just going to talk, I haven't got time to press buttons to talk. Mute by default, I do not have on. Voice chat ducking is off, so don't worry about that. Audio assists. So again, if you're driving, you can have an upshift tone. Don't worry about that. You've got a big set of lights in front of you on the wheel, that'll tell you. Formation lap parking sensor. Yes, because I still haven't figured out quite how to do that yet either. Radio verbosity. I have everything, so it's how much information you want from your race engineer. I turn it all on. Play victory calls. Now, this is another part of the game which I'll show you in a moment. Music. Replay, music spatialization. So that is like if there are speakers located around the circuit, that's where you'll hear the music from. Music type, it's got two, and basically one is an EA music, which if I played it I would get content ID'd up the fucking wazoo, or theme, which is the music you can hear at the moment, which is just a friendly one to avoid copyright strikes. So that's what we've got at the moment. Telemetry settings, if you like your telemetry, you can get it pointed out to your D-Box, to your Fanatec, to your SLI Pro. You can even get it out to a server if you've got UDP telemetry. You can restrict it or make it public as well. So, yeah, if you want to send your telemetry out to stuff and analyse your racing, you can.
Ham VR. Said Victory Calls I had to go with the Borat one. Hey, Watto UK.
I do know the one you mean. We'll show some people that sort of thing. Accessibility options. Accessibility in video games is always a good thing because not everyone can do everything. So what have we got? We've got subtitles, we've got voice chat volume, we've got a mono mix, we've got colour blindness. You know, we can... This one I was very surprised. Support incoming voice to chat text. So if you're deaf, you can see what people are saying. I thought that was brilliant. And convert chat text to voice. So if someone's typing in the chat, it'll come out and it will say it to you as well. So, yeah, I was going to say if you're blind, but you wouldn't really be playing a video game like this if you were blind, I wouldn't think. So, yeah, really, really impressed with those features. I think that's really good. I'm all about that sort of thing. EA Music. If you're using EA Music, you can customize all the different songs that you want. And to be honest, I did some good music in there. It's not bad at all. But we're going to stick with theme. VR, we're just going again, so all that is OSD, so that's your on-screen display. You can change the distance that window is at. I can move it forward or backwards if I want to. I mean, I can show you now. Okay, fine. Enable fix it. It's more in. No, it's not this one. It's the one that's in the game that it does. So you can move it around if you want. You can fix it. Now you can either have it so it stays where it is no matter where you look, or it follows you around as you look. I have it fixed because having it follow me feels really weird to me. Again, recognises my headset. Quite pleased with that. Recognises my resolution. Recognises my refresh rate. Now, I will say this. You can change the refresh rate of the index on the fly. I can do it now. If I just press this, I can go to here, and then I can select 90, 120, 144. If I do that while the game is running, it will not change here. It does not notice. You have to restart the game in order for that to happen. Again, if you want bloom and god rays and you want to blind yourself, go for it. If you want motion blur because you're a sadist, yep, do that as well. Stencil Mesh, I've turned off. Apparently Stencil Mesh is quite harsh on some resources. So you get yourself a bunch of frames back. Cool! So that is all the settings that we have. Now, this is the part of the game I don't quite understand and don't know why they put it in. So, F1 Life. It's basically The Sims, as far as I can tell. So if I go into customization, I can customize my casual wear. You know, it's, you know, do you want a green hat or a red hat, or do you want an F1 hat? And, you know, there's a brand shop where you can spend what's known as Pitcoin. Yes, you heard that correct. Pitcoin. Which is their in-game currency that you can spend real money on. Which I do believe you earn them. It makes no relation to the actual game itself, apart from what your character looks like, so I don't care. Racewear. That's what I'm running at the moment. It's just a standard thing. You can... Oh, hang on. Suit. Have I unlocked one? I have unlocked one. Alright, okay. Well, this is a bit garish. We'll stick with the black one. Okay, cool. So yeah, you can change everything. You can change your gloves, your character poses, your podium amounts.
Microtransactions can FO.
Yes, I agree. Microtransactions can FO. But I will say this game hasn't thrown them in your face. But this is the problem we have when... Oh, I've got a new t-shirt. What have I unlocked? So you do unlock stuff as you go. Yeah, that do. Yeah, you do unlock stuff as you go, and that's done by the challenges, and I'll show you those as well, just so we've got a good idea on the game. That's what it is. Right, my place. I don't know why this is here. Do you want to buy a couch? Do you want a couch? Do you want a new couch? Should we get a couch? Yeah, let's get a new couch. Great. Do you want some furniture? Yeah? Do you want a new table? Do you want something fancy? Do you want stuff that looks fucking weird? It's like, oh, okay. Okay. Do you want to change your floor? Do you not like your floor? You know. I'm willing to bet this will unlock. If I change one of each of these, I bet you it'll unlock a achievement in the game. Walls. I mean, why would I have that as a wall? Why wouldn't I want to change my walls? It's ridiculous. Wall art. I mean, you know, look at this thing that no one else is ever going to see. So why would, I matter about this? I don't understand. Lighting. I mean, come on. You want a lamp? Everyone wants a lamp. I love lamp. So, what kind of lamp and lighting do you want? I mean, just, how are you going to go on in life without making these decisions? I mean, soft furnishings, people. Come on. If you don't look after your soft furnishings, I mean, you're not an F1 driver, frankly. Disgusting. Driver profile. Customize your driver. There's mine. You can change his face. Or her face. They all look pretty much the same. They don't. They change. Exactly! Yes!
Said I am confused. Is this The Sims?
Country or region? Yeah, pretty obvious. Why is mine set to there? Let's go for the UK. Ooh, failed to connect to online services. Here we go, people. Online services is a two-way thing. If I have to be online all the time, so do you! Pick the number. I can't have 31 because somebody already has it in the real world. So I've taken 31 and 31 and added them together. I made 62, so that's my number. Badges. I've made that badge. I don't know. Why not? That's my badge, okay? That's my racing badge. Cool. Player car liveries. I've made a livery. It's incredibly garish. But at least you'll know who I am on the track. But yeah, you can edit, you can, sponsor decals. Why am I not surprised at this? So, yeah. And look, there's always people in my house. Why? I don't want people in my house. Right, supercars. You can unlock supercars. You can... Oh, for fuck's sake. I've got one of them. I've got an AMG GTR Pro. You can drive these in the game as well. But only single player. And only around the tracks.
Salsa Ketchup VR.
Said Stencil Mesh you have the wrong way round. I think on is good for performance as it then doesn't render the bits around the edges that you can see in the headset but then see stencil on 2D.
Somebody's been off to Google. Virtual showroom. Player cars. F2. So you've got F2 in this as well. So player cars. Look, there's my car. I can zoom in up and down using my throttle, which is a weird way of doing it. So that's pressing the throttle. So yeah, that's my design for the car. I quite like that. I thought it was fine. I will change the static mesh then. Thank you, Salsa. Right. Trophies. I haven't really done much, so I ain't got any of them. Theatre. This I quite liked. Come on. So I did do an online race. And when you finish any race, you can decide to save. Is it really? Really? Cool. So I can look at the saved highlights or, the replays. So you can clip stuff. So let's just, for example, Let's look at the highlights at Melbourne. So again, this is just in flat screen because it's just, you know, as if it was watching at the stadium. So I can hide everything. I mean, to be fair, that looks pretty good. And it sounds incredible. Also, when you pick your own team, you have to pick someone to be your co-driver, your teammate. I have David Coulthard because he was in there, and I met David Coulthard when I worked for Honda, so I was like, yeah, let's have David in there. But, we can do that. Quick. Okay, so you can
UK
capture stuff.
Said you latified it.
I may have well have done. It's fine, I'm still learning. Leave me alone. Retry. F1 Life visitors. View a list of people that are present in your F1 Life space. So there's Mike, Virtual Reality Oasis has come in and had a look. Fairborn has come in. Lincoln Clay has come in. There's Gamertag VR. I am blessed with two of the largest YouTubers in my house. Mike's obviously having a midlife crisis and staring out into the ocean. He's probably going to do, a Reggie Perrin or something in the moment. Yeah.
Salsa Ketchup VR. Said I should be in there somewhere.
So there's Ham. So basically this is my Steam friends, is what it is. So there's Gamertag, who's looking over there. There's Salsa. Salsa's having a sit down because it's been a long day. Yeah, so this is basically all my Steam friends. So there's John.
Crash
there's Mike.
organism. Said I am in the crapper.
You may well be. What you need to do, Crash, is you need to send us a friend request on Steam, and then we'll go from there. Cool.
Ham VR. Said lol hey mum I am on the YouTube.
Quite. This annoys me. Alright, let's just cancel. It's fine. Right. Career. You can have a single player career where you start as a driver or as an owner of a team and driver. So you can just go and try and win the Constructors' Championship and win the thing. But the thing I like about that is you can also... Oh, wrong one. You can do it two-player. So you can do it with a friend. And I think that's going to be really, really fun to do with someone. So, get two people that are pretty good and then try and work together. And try and build up your team. And you manage R&D. And you can play either competitively or cooperatively. Yeah, I think that's a really fun thing. Solo! You can do.
Crash organism. Said I have seen flat alpha version of this game, now seeing VR, that's a game changer.
Fair enough. Grand Prix. You could build your own Grand Prix of last year or this. F2 last year or F1 this year. And if we have a quick look, you can say, I want Bahrain and then I want Saudi Arabia, and I just want all of the tracks. So you can do that. So basically you can do a custom championship where you add whatever you want, or you can just go, do you know what? I just want the normal World Championship in the right order. So I'll do that. So now this I found is a good way to see what sort of level of AI you want to be up against. So for example, let's go Barcelona. Let's go Montreal. We've not done Montreal. Yeah. So we're going to go there. Now, you can have realistic performance where the car performs, which is reflective to the team that is chosen, or you can turn that off. So you've got all your teams with your nice things. You can, move up and down. Look, we saw one of those go flying at the weekend. It was terrifying. If you want to select your own team, it will do this. Player car can only be selected with equal performance enabled. Would you like to know the thing? And you go, yes, I would. Then it says, choose your teammate. Look at these faces. Alan Prost, Michael Schumacher, Senna, you know, David Coulthard. All these famous people and drivers that you've got. Dan Tickton, other people I've never heard of. So yeah, it's like, you know, who do you want? Let's get the Wonder Chin. And then you can say, right, what assist do I want to be using? They're exactly the same as I've been saying before in the game, so that's good. Weekend structure, I can say standard, authentic, you know, so usual format, qualified, you know, qualifying, race, practice, all that sort of stuff. Session length short, so short is 30 minutes practice if enabled and 5 wraps. Medium is plus 25%, and then 50%, and then long, and then full is 100. So you can have qualifying format one shot, which basically you get one flying lap to set it, or you can have it off, or you can have short and then full-time session as in F1 qualifying. So you can, you know, it's all fairly good things that you can set more than anything else. Standard, you can also go for authentic, which is the complete thing. I believe you can do sprint and race as well. So yeah, you've got, you know, a lot of things you can do. So if we go back, want to change your weather and time of day? Do you want it to be dynamic, realistic, all that sort of thing? Yep, not a problem at all. You can change all of that as well. Rules and flags, leave it all on, do it properly. I've actually got mine on immersive. I've got Parc Fermé on, Colonel Cut is regular. I've been a little bit good about it for myself. Might need that till I get a bit better. Simulation settings, realistic, recovery mode, none. Simulation, low fuel mode, easy, because I haven't figured that out yet. Yeah, it's fine. So you got easy, hard. So basically, all that does is it changes how the car behaves the lower the fuel in it is. So, you know, if you've got low fuel, on easy you'll go slightly slower, on hard you'll go a lot slower. So yeah. Race still assisted, because I don't know how to do clutch properly, so that's what I've done on that one. I will change it, but that's what I've got at the moment. And collisions I've got on, because why wouldn't you? And again, you can then go into all the other accessory options as well. So it's cool. And then if you just go, should we do it? Let's do it. Let's go start the event. Let's actually race. I'm not very good. I haven't done Miami either, so I don't know the track. And you get all this beforehand as well, like it's a proper big event.
Qualifying, there's no doubt we're in for an intense race here in Montreal, and I think we're just about ready to begin. With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Sainz, Gasly, Magnussen, Ocon and Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Mick Schumacher, Yuki Tsunoda and Joe, the owner driver, Latifi, Lando Norris
and the owner driver, apparently.
Vettel, Stroll, Albon and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So, you know, they've done a nice job on the
Natalie
presentation.
Bingham joins me once again in the commentary box. It's fantastic to have you with us today. I'm curious though, how do you think the drivers stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It'll keep them focused on the moment and on their
Auto
surroundings
UK.
as we build
Said
towards
my
the
money is,
start
on
of the
Latifi.
Grand Prix.
Yeah. So, what you can do when you're sitting in your car, so you see I'm in my car, there's all my teammates and everything. I can change my preset. So, do I want top speed? Do I want maximum top speed? You know, and you can also go into the preset and change that as well. I'm trying to remember which button it is to do that. That one, yeah. So you can then go into the aerodynamics, the transmission, the suspension geometry, the suspension, the brakes, and the tyres. So you can change everything that you want to do. Your money's on Latifi, is it? Okay, thanks. To be honest, so I'm gonna keep it there for the minute because this is a fairly fast track. God help me. Oh, cool. So let's just start her up. Woo. Ah! What the hell's going on there? So, as you can see, I'm not very good. But what we can do... Oh, at least we could. This happens sometimes. It's stopped. Well, that's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. So, I'm going to come last in this race. So you can see I've got the, I've got just the cornering on so I can see what I'm doing.
UK said make sure you bounce up and down on the back straight to simulate the
I'd say you can do that to simulate porpoising.
Said audio print on the Halo.
Yes, that, well you can, I chose that.
Said need to short shift on low gears.
I know. But I say, I'm after going through all the menus and everything and trying to get everything going out. But you, hey, there it goes. Again, also traction control. But like I say, I am loving the game. I am having a lot of fun with it. And that, I will admit, that was the most dreadful start. Yeah. Don't slow down there anywhere near enough.
The underbody's taken a little damage, just watch out for it.
Now, the game does also have voice commands. However, the voice commands are dependent on the Microsoft...
Ketchup VR. Said also no full gas on first, second or third.
No, I know. But the other thing is, like, there's so much to focus on and so much to keep an eye on while you're actually racing. It's nuts. Again, I've gone span out because I put the foot down too much. It's good, isn't it? No, that one. Can you just spin it? Yeah, that do. See, that's the way to do it.
Salsa Ketchup VR.
Said sorry you were saying about the voice commands.
Yes, the voice commands in the game can be used. However, they are reliant on the Windows 10 or Windows 11 speech recognition software that is part of Windows 10 and is built into Windows 10. Mine doesn't work for some reason. Alright, so now it's asking me to pull into the pit lane. I'm going too fast. Pit limit is done. Did I turn on the auto? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's auto assist, isn't it? Alright, turn too late. So I can engage the clutch. Yeah, so I can't use the voice commands.
Your late turning meant we had a slower than planned pit stop, I'm afraid. Up to speed now, let's get some heat into those tyres.
Oh look, everyone's just slapped me. That was a dreadful start. But, as you can see, it performs really well while I'm actually driving at the opposed benchmark. That's a bit fucked. Now, the other thing I've noticed that it does, which I'm not sure if it's a bug or if it's my wheel, but my up and down on my steering wheel is now not working, which is not good. So, if I turn it off, right, the game will go, your controller is not detected. And then I turn it back on. So it's very annoying. And I don't know if this is the wheel, that there's something wrong with it, or if it's the game and it's a bug where it's doing it. It's entirely possible. I've heard of a lot of different bugs that are coming out. One of them in particular. See? Now it works. So it's not the wheel. Let's just retire from that session. Yeah. There's another bug where if you've got like Club Sport pedals and they're plugged in via USB, that will crash the game as well.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was.
Watto UK
So Natalie,
said got to bounce. I left the light night
deliver this result?
No problem,
Well,
mate. Thanks
they
for
certainly
coming
stood
along.
out as a driver
I hope
with
it's been
tons of
at least a bit
confidence on the
informative
track.
and
I think
helpful for
their ability
people.
to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their
Salsa
way to the
Ketchup
top
VR
spot
said,
with
do you
ease.
have another controller connected to PC?
I do
So
not
after a
have another
magnificent
controller
race,
connected to
we can now see
PC.
the drivers
One of the things I
making
do
their way
with
to the podium.
any
Once
game that
again,
I do,
it's the
I
Silver Arrows
disconnect
who take
all
the top
other
spot.
controllers.
A well-earned victory for
VR
Mercedes.
said also Don T race with a controller plugged in. I learned the hard way on Friday. It was adding a little break.
That's interesting. So, I've got a Xbox wireless pad that is connected via a wireless dongle. Do you think maybe unplugging that dongle would help? Even though if you go into USB devices, I can't see another device.
Salsa Ketchup VR said yes.
Oh, interesting. But if I go into USB devices, it doesn't show it. And because we've done things, we earn XP and we unlock the top row
Ham
here.
VR said I had it plugged in for replays. It was being pesky.
So
Fair
then,
enough.
Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined
Yeah,
us,
fuck off,
and we'll see you
'cause
for the next one.
I did very badly. So you can save the full replay, you can watch the replay, you can talk to the race director and, show you where everyone's going. And it's like, oh, I'll be a DNF. I'm the only one that had a DNF. Why does it put my name as player 1? Wonder how I can change that. Sounds flew past me, send it to
Said
Eric.
Salsa flew past me and said it was all hers.
May well be. Right, shall we try somewhere else? The fact that online services are off, I don't really care. Okay, let's go solo. We'll go for another Grand Prix. So F1 Esports, can't do anything, retry connection. That's bad. Especially because it's like just come out. Oh, no. Error code. Please try again in a few minutes. Please see unable to connect from my phone. To be fair, they may have taken it offline because they're doing some work to it. I don't know. Right, what else we got? So, multiplayer, social, got weekly event. So, Austria is the currently weekly event. You can do qualifying. Split screen on PC. Surprised about that. Not entirely sure if you'd have two giant wheels plugged in, but it is. As you may say, there might be control.
Salsa Ketchup VR
Set as your menu
Could
may
do.
have set some things to your controller up. Write down EXT to controller.
Social play. Are you going to work or not? So, beginner friendly. Basically, there's one-shot qualifying, so you get a flying lap, 5 laps, and collisions are disabled. Experienced drivers. F1 22, one shot, 25% race, and corner cutting is a bit strict. You can browse, create a custom one. Creating a custom one's really easy. So let's just go friends only, for example. I am banned from this session. Ah, I know what that is. I had this before. Yeah. That is because my cloud save has not synced with Steam. So I'm not banned from creating my own, it's just that the gaming files aren't up to date, so it's like, well, hang on a minute. So it won't let me go to any of them. So if I go clean drivers only, yeah, maybe not. So if we go to Canada, joining session, and it might say you can't join. There you go. Unable to verify file integrity. That's because my offline files are different to my ones up in the cloud. That's what that is. So just make sure you always do a classic. Honestly, just restarting the game will fix that. Yeah, it's fine. So that's fine. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So let's just go solo. Let's go Grand Prix. Let's go F22. Where shall we go? Where shall we go? Should we do Silverstone? Because that's where we just had, didn't we? Yeah, go on, we'll do Silverstone. Next, we're going to go in my own car. Yes. I'll have Alan Prost because I don't care about any of that shit. I am just going to turn that up a bit because I was spinning a bit much. Don't at me. Oh, hang on. That's off and off. How come? Oh well, never mind. Right. Let's see how we do this time. Okay. The thing is, I get what you're saying about the controller, but
A warm
the
welcome to all of
PC
you
is saying there
joining us
isn't a
at
controller.
Silverstone
But I'll
today
unplug it and
as
see
the
what
grid
happens.
begins to form up for what we hope will be.
Yeah.
Let's
So it does all this stuff all over again like it does every time. You can just skip through it, which is nice. Right, what do we think for a car setup? Let's go with the bog standard balanced. Just so that it's there. And start the race.
Salsa Ketchup VR. Said Brisbane.
Bit late now. Again, it's one of those incredibly fast. Yay! Just trying to cut in. Damn it! That wasn't particularly clean, but we got ahead of some people.
There's serious damage to the underbody. Repeat, serious damage to the underbody.
Fine. So what I can do?
Currently sitting P21. We're currently P21. Norris just ahead. Push for the position. Albon behind. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. Okay, just 5 laps until the end. A new strategy available on the MFD. Copy that.
This is the problem, is you're trying to focus on so many things at once.
Salsa Ketchup VR. Said that was a big sausage.
It was a big... Ah! Yeah, that didn't go well. That's cold tyres. That's what that was, I think. I don't know. It wasn't very good. Then it wants me to pit. Right, this is the bit I'm not sure about, how this works. Anyone get any ideas about how this pit lane system works, about when it wants you to turn in? I mean, there's someone else pitting, so... I don't understand. I don't know how that works. But I've got a new front wing.
That stop wasn't great. We've lost some time there.
Again, I'm not doing that, as you can see. Again, I just got this on the corners just to try and help me out.
The floor's incurred massive damage.
This is the pit lane, why don't you fix it? My P22, there's no way I'm going to catch anyone this. So basically I've just got terrible starts when there's lots of other cards around. Essentially, I did an online race the other day, and I guess it put people kind of on my level. Because I came fourth, which was like, that wasn't too bad. But it's the thing with this game is everything is so fast. You have to really be on the ball with what you're doing. And there's so much, and it's exhausting. It's like when you play Dirt Rally 2, Dirt Rally 2 is exhausting. You just feel so tired.
Said not sure I could be bothered messing about with the extraneous options whilst in a race. I kind of prefer just racing. Perhaps you could get used to it though. Salsa Ketchup VR. Said for a restart, try and try again.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's all about practice. But the main thing is, I'm having fun. And that's what these things are about. They're just about having fun. But hopefully, I've given everyone a bit of a rundown of the different options that are available to you within the game to make it look and perform better, particularly from a VR standpoint. And if anyone's got any questions and you want to leave them in the comments, let me know, and I will happily answer them for what I can. I will share my files if people want me to. If people want a copy of my XML files that run everything, I'm more than happy to give those out to people. Again, trail break, that's better. The interesting thing as well is the halo, you don't even notice it after a while, it's just not there. Your eyes kind of just get past it. That felt better. That felt much better. That feels alright. Lap 4. I mean, I'm coming last, but it'll be interesting to see what sort of lap times I'm getting.
Said very good and useful screen.
The only thing I do know is one tech was actually saying it still doesn't have true triple screen support, which he's very annoyed about. The tech is not he's not a VR person, not yet anyway. But seriously, once you've got everything dialed in, it runs like a dream, and it's so much fun to play.
says next gen, maybe we LLC.
Yeah, I know. That wasn't any slight against you, sir. But he will be coming around here on Thursday to give this a shot, because bit too wide there, but not bad. Again, I need to remember to let the braking do the turning for me.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
Final lap. Slow in, fast out. Come on. But again, it's exhausting. It's really exhausting.
Our gap to the car in front is 26.9 seconds.
Thanks, dude. Really making me feel good hearing that. Well, let's say you've got all the assists, you've got all the options in the world that you could ever want. Everything's going to be about personal choice. Some things are going to work better for you than they did for me. That's fine. Find your best way. But my recommendation would be stick with the VR defaults. Just work your way through those. And then change that anti-aliasing to TAA and AMDFS sharpening. That's the sweet spot. That is the thing that makes it work the best. That particular anti-aliasing really, really does make a difference between all of it. And there's the end.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Do a restart, don't again, yeah. Well done, Mr. Gasly. Oh.
Well, they've done a
But again, I'm
brilliant job, I
shattered.
must say, under some intense
Just
pressure.
after doing because
Take a
there's so
well-earned
much to
victory here at the
focus
British
on,
Grand Prix.
Over
and it's
the
moving
Oasis.
so
Says
fast.
good info, cheers, Buck.
No problem, dude. It's alright. That's what the idea of the stream is the first half was to give everyone an idea of the different options you can do, and actually so you could see them, because it's all well and good saying this is the best, that's the best. Actually show them off so people can see what the different ones are. Yes, I'm very happy for you, Max. Well done.
The drivers are-
Yeah.
Well, after an
Good for you.
incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Well, you
Well,
put
it
me in a bit
wasn't
of a
me.
tight spot today, but I think I'll go.
Excellent. Well, there we go. So that is F1 22. I believe if Ham is still here, Ham is looking at setting up an F1 Friday, possibly, for multiplayer. So if you want to head over to his Discord and have a look on his Twitter for Ham VR, he will be doing some stuff out there. So, yeah. I think that's enough from me. I think that's all we really need. But I appreciate you all coming. I hope you found it interesting. If you've got anyone out there with VR who wants a bit more info on how to do it, if you want to point them to this video, it's really good. Big shout out and thank you to Mike, VR Oasis, for actually tweeting out my stream, because we've been talking today and he was like, oh, I want to get it working properly, and I talked him through a lot of the stuff that I've said here, and I was a bit cheeky. I did say to Mike, look, if what I tell you works, would you mind bumping it up a bit for us? And he did, so I appreciate him doing that. But anyway, that's it for me for this evening. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy whatever it is you get up to, and fuck the lot of you. See you later.